Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I'm so happy to be with you again today as we consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, I'm talking about reducing anxiety and unlocking your superpower, and doing all of this through delayed gratification. Now, I wanted to start the show with a quote from Brian Tracy, and he said, "The ability to discipline yourself to delay gratification in the short term in order to enjoy greater rewards in the long term is the indispensable prerequisite for success." Again, that's Brian Tracy. And we know this in certain areas of our life. We may be very good at it in certain areas of our life, but there may be lingering areas that you have not thought about where you can delay gratification in order to have less stress and anxiety in your daily life. Learning to delay gratification can make you happier and more successful in your personal and your professional life. And psychological studies confirm what many traditions have long taught about the power of mental training. A little self-discipline can yield great results. Now, I know we need self-discipline for a lot of things, including some of the things we talk about here, such as adding in, let's say, a meditation practice, right? That takes some discipline, and in order to do that, we may have to delay gratification. We're not going to get immediate results, but we can see over time that there will be changes. So today, I want to talk about some of the benefits of waiting for what you want, as well as some techniques later on for becoming more patient. So delaying gratification, which is the ability to resist the temptation for an immediate reward and wait for a later reward, is a trait that has been associated with a number of positive outcomes. And one of the primary benefits of delaying gratification is improved career success or academic success. People get it when we talk about those areas of life, like when people learn to prioritize long-term goals over a short-term pleasure. They tend to be able to have a stronger work ethic, better study habits, and enhanced time management skills. The discipline fostered by delaying gratification equips us all with the perseverance needed to overcome obstacles and to actually reach our aspirations. So delaying gratification can also lead to better financial stability. In a world where consumerism is rampant and we have the ability to buy anything at any time with the click of a mouse, the ability to resist the lure of instant purchases can really help us save money. It can help us avoid debt and make more thoughtful financial decisions. By choosing to invest in long-term benefits, such as saving for education or having retirement plans or buying property, rather than succumbing to impulse buying with the click of a mouse, we can create more secure financial futures for ourselves. Financial discipline not only reduces stress and anxiety related to our monetary issues, but it actually then provides a safety net for unforeseen circumstances. This gives us a double win. And the practice of delayed gratification can also contribute to better physical and mental health. Now, we know this in the physical arena, right? Resisting the urge to indulge in unhealthy foods in favor of a balanced diet and regular exercise will lead us to a healthier lifestyle and prevent chronic disease. Similarly, avoiding the temptation of harmful habits such as smoking or excessive drinking can significantly enhance our overall well-being. And on the mental health front, the self-control exercised in delaying gratification can reduce feelings of guilt and regret associated with impulsive decisions, fostering a sense of pride and accomplishment that boosts self-esteem and emotional resilience. When we practice delaying gratification, we often find ourselves in a more balanced emotional state. We're not riding the roller coaster so much. We're a little bit more on an even keel because this self-discipline can help reduce anxiety and stress, which are frequently linked to the pressures of immediate satisfaction and the fallout from hasty decisions. So you can see how it's almost a monster that feeds itself. By embracing a more thoughtful, mindful, and deliberate approach to our life's choices, we can experience a great reduction in mental fatigue, and this can help lead to clearer, more focused thinking. So really, the practice of delaying gratification nurtures a stronger sense of purpose and long-term vision. When we're less preoccupied with the immediate rewards and more focused on future goals, we tend to develop a more optimistic outlook without even trying. And I want you to hear this because what we're doing, we don't even have to try. It's just that when we are less preoccupied with these immediate rewards and we have to get them and you can feel that energy running through you and more calmly focused on future goals, we have a more optimistic outlook on life without even doing anything extra. Now, this long-term perspective can provide a buffer against short-term setbacks and disappointments, and that reinforces emotional stability, which is what we are looking for. We don't want to be riding that roller coaster. Over time, the repeated success of waiting for a more substantial reward strengthens our belief in our own capabilities, enhancing our personal efficacy and overall life satisfaction. We feel so much better about ourselves. We didn't have to talk ourselves into it. We just changed what we were doing. And what about relationships? Relationships are big in our lives, and they're sometimes difficult, sometimes stressful. Delaying gratification can really improve social relationships, which are, like I said, often a source of discomfort and anxiety. When individuals choose to pause and think before acting, they are more likely to make considerate and empathetic decisions. This mindfulness can lead to more harmonious interactions and deeper, more meaningful connections with others. The ability to navigate social complexities with patience and understanding really fosters an environment of mutual respect and trust, which can reduce interpersonal stress and conflict. And many people that I talk to, when we are down to one-on-one and they are sharing their difficulties in life, much of it comes from the interpersonal relationships. This is because they are very important to us and therefore can hold a lot of angst as far as, is it going right? Is it not going right? Did I do things right? Or looking for the immediate gratification of a conversation, wanting to get a point across, wanting someone to understand us. It can become very stressful, but we can, with patience and understanding, begin to change how we are handling those relationships. And when I think about it, the practice of delaying gratification is a great exercise in self-regulation that seems to extend far beyond the immediate benefits. It can almost be a superpower because it cultivates resilience and fortitude, enabling us to actually face life's challenges with a composed and confident demeanor. This practice becomes a habit and becomes ingrained. It shapes our identity and our self-worth, laying a solid foundation for a fulfilling and psychologically enriched life. We are no longer running scared all the time. So I thought maybe we could talk about delaying gratification, how it can actually help you. Some of the things it can help you with. It can help you by enhancing your relationships, as I was just talking about, because our patience increases when we become less vulnerable to anger and its tendency to drive others away. We learn to look at the big picture and consider others' feelings. But I'm telling you, if anything can make you want to jump and react right away, it's anger. And as our patience increases, we can become less vulnerable to that kind of anger. Next up, we can become more physically fit. Studies show that those less practiced at delaying their gratification, or they're called low delayers, tend to have higher body fat. If you appreciate the long-term benefits of nutritious food and regular exercise, you're less likely to overindulge in junk food, and you may become more apt to get out and exercise and move your body as bodies like to move. The third one I have for you is that delaying gratification can help you lower your risk of substance abuse. Like drug addiction can be one of the most painful consequences of seeking immediate pleasure. It happens. Even legal activities like shopping or watching TV or scrolling can become destructive if we take it to the extreme and allow them to crowd out the more meaningful endeavors in our life. And fourth, you can learn to enjoy more contentment in your life with delayed gratification. Self-control enables us to set goals and focus our energies on reaching these goals. We can make better choices, accomplish more, and handle setbacks better. All of that reduces the stress in our life. And like I said earlier, the stress that we don't feel is still there. It's these little things in the background, these little stresses that really do begin to build on themselves. Now, there's probably a few places in your life that you can add a little more of a delay. So, if you think you want to give it a try, I have some tips for making those changes. First up, recognize the complexity of your mind. Rather than labeling yourself as weak, try to identify the circumstances where you have trouble resisting temptation. Write those in your journal. This can be helpful in making constructive changes in your life a little bit at a time. Number 2, divert your attention. Just turning your attention away from the cheesecake or the annoying remark that someone said to you will instantly make you a little bit happier and better behaved. The more you learn to control your thinking, the wiser you will become. Number 3, take a pause. Pausing for a second can help you avoid reflexive reactions that run against your best interests and focus on calm responses. Decide if it's more important to see your kids or spend another hour at the office. Take that morning run rather than sleeping in for a half hour if the exercise gives you more energy and keeps you healthier. And number 4, think ahead. You can live in the moment and still be responsible for planning for the future. You will find the balance that works for you. we can hold both planning for the future and being in the present moment at the same time. Number 5, experiment with visualization. When you've fallen in love with a pair of shoes or sneakers that are too much for your budget, picture them as just a picture, lacking any real substance. They'll be easier for you to forget. And number 6 is kind of related. You can contemplate impermanence, because if visualizations don't really work for you or they're difficult for you, think about impermanence. Those $400 shoes or sneakers could get scuffed the first time you wear them, but setting that money aside for retirement could give you a much better future. And number 7, seek out good role models. Whatever your age, you can learn valuable lessons from others by observing people whose patience you admire. And number 8, reinforce your new habits. Self-control grows stronger the more we practice. Have some fun finding the strategies that work best for you. Look for daily opportunities to delay gratification, whether it's a monthly savings plan or transforming those late-night snacks into a more nutritious breakfast. Practice makes progress. And one way you can practice and see the progress is by doing this in your journal. You know how many times I have mentioned it. So get that journal out and start writing where you want to have more self-control and delay gratification, and write out your successes in there too. It'll be a great thing to look back on. Throughout your life, you're likely to spend a lot of time waiting, so you might as well become good at it and not feel waiting or delaying as a stress. Delaying gratification is one of the most important qualities we can build into our lives. Maybe you can even make it your superpower. Thanks so much for being here with me today. I love spending time with you and hearing from you. So if you have an email that you want to send, you can send it to anxietycoachespodcast@gmail.com. And now for today's quote. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. And that's from Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.